God will not keep showing up the same way, as you know. God keeps adapting to us, but also inviting us into new territory, and that being able to be alert to that is part of contemplativeness, I think.
And then being open to the effect that newness has. Like what effect does it have that God is like being surprising to me or attentive to me?
That's right, exactly.
And to be vulnerable to feeling that and kind of lingering with that affective emotion for a while.
Savoring is a really good word. That's the word Ignatius uses in the exit. To savor with what you're given. Don't move quickly on to something new. If something really good's being offered, relish it, savor it. Savoring is a wonderful word.
That is a good word. Good word. Lingering longer, savoring.
That's right. That lingering's another great way of putting it.
I remember working with some new students in spiritual direction, and the word desire was off-putting. You know, they just think of it as something connected with sexuality or some
selfish,
kind of...
selfish, often people say. They get real spiritual, you know, about, so this is selfish, instead of being honest.
That's right. So
we're built as desiring beings, especially toward God, you know.
So the call to really be honest and vulnerable and real. Real in the presence of the sacred. We have the white gloves on, the people too often with God, you know, and I think we all have to have a bit of the Jewish form of prayer, which you have in the Psalms, where people really put it to God. Like, where have you been? You know, I mean, do I have to wake you up and remind you who your promises are? And your Jewish prayer is always reminding God of the promises God made. It's like God has amnesia, but it's actually they're reminding themselves too of what God promised. And often it's amazing when he goes, sometimes people want to skip those parts, but if you stay with them, they actually move through the struggle and then say, okay, I do remember when you were faithful, and maybe if I can remember, I can get through this struggle or something. So praying the Psalms is really important for everybody to be able to know how to move through.
All the moods are in the Psalms. Even letting God know how you were touched by God. And people say to me, oh, but Brian, God knows everything. And I use the example with them of two friends or two spouses. One's learned something really important about the other, but from a third party. They're waiting to hear about it. They have the information, but they're waiting to hear about it from their friend because of the intimacy. And God, we're not giving God information, but we're offering our intimacy with God if we let God in on. I'm really disconcerted by you, God, right now. I don't like the way I see you acting with me. That's really honest prayer. You know? It's actually very respectful. You're taking God seriously as a reality.
That's right.
And it's a way of really relating out of your honest self. You know.
So there needs to be that relationship. There needs to be some way of communicating with each other, whether it's the simplicity of it all. I know what happens sometimes when I ask someone, well, what is God like there for you? They'll say, well, how would I know? You know, there's a stop there. How do you work with that when someone
Well, that's a great, because people want to come out with stock things they learned about God, and I say, well, did you actually notice that? Well, no. Well, then what? And they often say, well, it was kind of a silence. And then there are different kinds of silence. Was it a hospitable? Was it a gentle silence? Was it a harsh silence? And then they, actually it was pretty okay silence. And did you stay with it because it was pretty, well, I moved on to something else. And then you say, well, would you like to go back to that? If it was a good silence, maybe it might be good to stay a little while longer with it, you know?
Yeah, so helping others to return.
That's right,
that's right. Doing that ourselves with our own personal kind of sensibility.
We move on and we move on for probably lots of different reasons. We're maybe concerned it's going to go away on its own, or it may take us a place we don't want to go. I mean, we think ahead. You know, we don't have that much data. We just have, I really like this experience, but therefore I'm going to leave it. That doesn't quite make sense. You know,
it doesn't.
You know?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So that savoring, lingering,
right.
being with the experience, so that we are affected by the reality.
Yes, yes.
And having that effective awareness move something within us to respond, to continue the relationship in a deeper way, perhaps.
And also it awakens our desires, so we can ask God, I'd like more of this, or I'd like you to communicate other sides of yourself, because I like this side, but are there other sides? I mean, those are really, their desire is what I think follows after the being affected and the sharing how you've been affected, and then it's what am I desiring of God? And or I can even dare to ask, what do you desire of me? But people are slow at ask.
So it's staying with
that's when people get a little nervous.
Do you find these days when people are talking about like the cosmic reality and the universal whatever, that there's a question as to whether or not there's really a personal God?
Yeah, it can become.
How do you work with that, Brian?
Well, I really think the cosmic adventure is what we're part of, but it can become an abstraction.
Yes, yes.
Because God always meets us where we are, you know, and so if people, I'd be alert to whether people are evading their concrete parts of their lives by invoking the cosmic picture, the large, the cosmic story, you know, and so I would bring them back, but there's a way in which Teilhard, for example, my friend Pierre Teilhard de Chardin says one of his fundamental words for evolution is groping. There's a constant groping on, and our spiritual groping is a prolongation of the groping from when little amoebae became more than amoebae, you know. It's a growth and a failing and a succeeding, but a striving. One person, John Hort, a theologian, thinks something's alive if it's striving.
Striving,
you know, I mean, whether it's a vegetable or and so, but that connects the individual in their small life, their groping, their seeking, with what's going on in the whole picture. But as long as it doesn't turn into an abstraction, the big picture that brings you away from what you're being asked for, and right close with the family you're with, cursed and blessed with, the friends you've got, or the enemies you've got, or the job you don't like, or whatever. That has to stay in the picture. And our little efforts are microcosms of this huge thing that's going on. It really is, you know. And it helps to go back and forth between the larger picture, because we're so small, but what we admit or what we do is we're contributing or we're abstaining from giving what the process needs, you know.
Okay.
Even if it's really finite, what we're doing. But the contemplativeness, I think, makes us even be affected by that larger process.